The 3D camera tracker effect can analyze a piece of video and determine the exact placement and movement of the original camera used to shoot the footage. We're going to use that effect to place some text into a scene, making it appear as though it's been sitting in the environment of the scene itself. The footage in this project is of an airport runway, and I want to add the number 05 to the runway right in this area here. So to start that process, let's select the runway layer in the timeline, then go up to the animation menu and choose Track Camera. Immediately, After Effects will start analyzing the footage in the background. This allows you to work in any other composition in After Effects while the analysis is still happening. If you want to get an update to the status, go ahead and look in the top of the Effect Controls panel under the 3D Camera Tracker, and you'll get a real-time update, unless it's finished. Once it's finished, the effect will be highlighted here in the Effect Controls panel, and you'll see these crosses in the runway here. Now, if you hover your mouse over these crosses, you'll notice there is a target that appears, and the target determines where you're going to place something in the scene. Now, I'm looking at this, and the target is very distorted. So let's look at some of the settings. If we go to the top of the Effect Controls panel, under Shot Type, Fixed Angle of View has been chosen. That means the lens wasn't zooming in and out during the shot, which is correct. But when you notice some drastic distortion like we saw with the target, you may want to go in and specify the angle of view. So I went online and searched angle of view with my model of camera that shot this footage. And it just so happens the angle of view, or the field of view for my specific camera, was 73 degrees. So I'll specify my angle of view and set it at 73 degrees and press enter. Notice it doesn't have to reanalyze anything, it just recomputes the analysis. Now when I hover with my target, it's still got a little distortion, close up here, but it's nowhere near what it was before. And when I'm out here, there's far less distortion. So I'm going to hover around this general area, and I want my target to look like it's actually sitting on the tarmac. If you notice, as I'm moving my mouse around the scene, I'm getting 3 points that create a triangle, and so if I click, those 3 points will be selected. If you hold down Shift and click on other points, you can use those to further refine exactly where the elements are placed in the scene. Now, it's not that important that you have the exact same points that I do. I just want you to make sure that the target looks like it's actually sitting on the tarmac. Hover your mouse over the middle of the target, and you should notice the mouse change into the Move tool here. Once you see the Move tool, go ahead and drag the target anywhere you like in the scene where you'd like to place your graphics. Once you have it in a location you like, right-click or control-click if you're on the Mac, right over the center of that target, and then choose Set Ground Plane in Origin. So whenever you insert something with the 3D tracking data, it will automatically be inserted at the origin. So it's really important to go ahead and set that. Once it's set, move your mouse back over the center of the target and then right-click or control-click again. And this time, I want you to choose Create Text in Camera. To edit the text, go to the timeline and double-click on the T icon for the text layer. Then type 05 and grab the selection tool to set the type. Now let's go to the character panel on the right and change our typeface. Click once on the font drop-down menu, and rather than previewing fonts, let's type Arial, A-R-I-A-L. Press Enter to set the new font. Let's press R to open up the rotation and orientation settings. Click and drag on the Z rotation parameter until you get to a setting of 91 degrees. In order to reposition this, I'm not going to change the position, I'm going to change the anchor point. So press A to open the anchor point, and usually I would scrub on these parameters as I reposition, but I already know exactly where I want things to go. So let's change X to -25, and press Tab to move to Y, and we'll set -27 for that, and press Enter to set. Now the text is very large, so I'll press S to open up the scale, and your scale number may be slightly different than mine, so just try and visually match it, I'm going to set my scale to 580 and press enter. And then to blend the colors in a little better, let's go over to the character panel and grab the eyedropper and then sample a gray from the side of the runway. So after you've picked your color, press V to grab the selection tool, and let's press R to open the rotation orientation one more time, because I'm looking at this and the angles here are a little tight. So let's change the Z rotation on the orientation to a setting of 95, and then I'll click in the bottom of the timeline to deselect everything and press the space bar to play everything back. So remember, if you have the chance, pay attention to what camera the footage was shot with. That information can sometimes come in very handy.